And now you can eat just like the Moonshiners did. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Surviving in Alabama. Today we are going to make hoe cakes. Some people call them hot water cornbread. It is easy, simple. All it is salt, sugar, cornmeal, and that's it. We're gonna cook them, and they're really good. Okay, guys, this is cornmeal. It's white cornmeal. So this is super simple. All you're gonna do, 1 cup, two cups. I'm just gonna leave the cup in the bag. This is a water kettle. This is nothing but water. It ain't got nothing in it. I'm gonna turn that on and get it hot. All right, then we're gonna take a teaspoon of salt. So get here, 1 teaspoon. You need 1 teaspoon per cup, but we'll probably cut that a little bit down. Sometimes I've found this just a little bit better if it's not as salty. So we're gonna do 1.5. There's one, and like a half. Then this is sugar. 1, 2. Then we'll take, while it's dry, you're gonna mix up all the dry ingredients. You don't want it wet yet. We'll mix it up real good. There's only 3 ingredients in here, y'all. You don't have to have all this stuff all the time. In the old days, they didn't have everything that you have to cook with today. During the Great Depression, people would go out and they would work say the Moonshiners, they'd be out there at the steel site. Well, what did they have? Well, they had cornmeal. That's what they made moonshine of. They had sugar. That's what they used to help ferment the corn. They had water because they used water when they was making the whiskey. So they didn't have all these ingredients that we have today. So, and they ate fine. This is really good eating. So I'm gonna mix all this up real good, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, this is a kettle of boiling hot water. And no, I'm not gonna measure it. I'm just gonna pour some on here and start mixing it up. And what we're looking for is not a measurement, we're looking for a consistency. Kind of what you want is you want to make it kind of like biscuit dough or pizza dough or some kind of something like that. See, I didn't put enough in there, so we're just gonna add to it. If it's a little bit too soupy, you just let it steam off a little bit, let it set a few minutes, and it'll get better. If it's a lot too soupy, may have to add some cornmeal to it. And yes, this is hot. We'll mix all this up real good. So this cornmeal is actually cooking while I'm mixing it because the heat from the boiling water is cooking the cornmeal. So when you pat this out, it's going to be really already cooked. I mean, in theory, you could eat it just like that. But we're going to fry it when we get it all mashed up together. So, see, this is all I'm doing. I'm just mixing it up and then I'm going to pat on it a little bit. So I'm pushing down on it, just mixing it up. So in the old days, like I was saying earlier, they didn't have all these things that we have today. So you could literally, those guys would go long time without going to the store. So they would buy large amounts of the same kinds of rations, and they had to, make do with what they had. So when they were making their food, they had to make several different kinds of things out of the same ingredients. So there we go. Now look, see that it kind of looks like biscuit dough? It's kind of spongy, kind of hard. It's not hard, it's just got some sponge to it. It's not soupy for sure. So I'm probably go through here. Yeah, it needs just a little bit more in the bottom. So we're gonna mix that up. I want all the dry cornmeal needs to be worked in. So when you get it all mixed up together, while it's cooking, see, it's cooking in this bowl. So when you get it all mashed up real good, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna let it set. It needs to set because it's cooking. It doesn't have to set very long, but it needs to set. So I'm just gonna set that off to the side. And while it's cooking in the bowl, I'm gonna put a little bit of oil or grease in the pan. You can use bacon grease, you can use lard. The old timers used to use lard. Lard's good for you. So, but that's not what I have on hand. What I have on hand is vegetable oil, so I'm gonna cook it in vegetable oil. So I'm gonna go heat this pan up while this is cooking, and I'll come back. Now, I don't need a lot of oil in here, but I need a little bit. It's like frying a hamburger or something like that. So I got some oil in here, and then I'm gonna turn it on. You don't want it popping grease everywhere. You just want just enough to fry bread. Okay guys, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna spoon it out, and I'm gonna put it in my hand. And it's still kind of hot. And I'm gonna pat it out just like a hamburger. So I'm doing this. I'm making hamburgers out of cornmeal. And the old timers, see, they didn't have all that mess to work with. So this is what they did. So take this, and I'm gonna put it, hear that? It's frying, and it sounds really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and put the rest of them in there, and I'll come back to you. Okay guys, I flipped one. That's kind of what it looks like. Hard to hold a camera and do this. So basically what you're doing is you're making cornbread without buttermilk, without eggs, without baking powder. And so it's a cornbread, doesn't have flour in it. And it just turns out really well. I mean, if you like cornbread, you will like this. So, we're frying them up. We're gonna flip them over. Guys, cornmeal, salt, sugar, hot water, fry. That's it. So simple. Thanks for coming along with me today, guys. We made hoe cakes. We learned a little bit about history, and now you can eat just like the Moonshiners did. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. God bless.